Today we're going to be talking all about the war in Iran again, or maybe the end of the war in Iran. If you saw my video a couple weeks ago, since the beginning of March, we have been in this war with Iran. And throughout the last couple of days, Trump has been alluding to the imminent end of this war. We are now 5 weeks in since the start of the conflict, and it seems like the White House is ready to call it mission accomplished. And we're going to talk all about that in this video. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to smash the like button here on YouTube and subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. We are growing a lot right now, 275 subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Last video I did something a little different. I got a new housemate. He's from Japan, so we had to take the boy out to get a little taste of the freedom, show him all of California's best. We had an Irish coffee at the birthplace of the Irish coffee. I think it's one of my worst performing videos. I think it's because I used a song by Kanye that got copyrighted, so my video got like 4 views in the first 12 hours. What's with that? I mean, I get it, copyrighted song, you can show it in some countries, but you know, I don't have the biggest audience, but 4 people? Anyway, it's water under the bridge. I'm not mad over it at all. But if you didn't watch last video, make sure you go check it out. It's actually pretty fun. It's only 4 minutes long. You can put it on your drive home, or if you're just chilling at the crib, I'm sure you'll like it. So check that out. All right, with that, we're gonna get right into the news. Let's do a little bit of a recap. In February 28, we had the joint operation between the US and Israel. They attacked Iran's nuclear program, their missile stockpiles and production facilities, and they also killed key leadership figures in the regime, such as Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, which was the supreme leader at that time. So we're in this war. It has been going on for about 5 weeks now, and it seems that the White House is ready to call it mission accomplished.
Oh, I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. They're finished.
So how much?
Which is a little weird. It's only been a month of fighting, and at first they said this was going to be something quick. They were going to get in and out of there in a matter of 2-3 weeks. The war would be over. Then they said the war could last all the way up until September, maybe even past that. So now the White House is signaling that they're going to be putting an end to the war within the next couple of weeks. Now, I was a little scared getting ready for this video because I knew Trump was going to be addressing the nation tonight, and I was afraid that he was going to shift positions and perhaps he was going to confirm that the US is in fact going to be soon withdrawing from the region. But actually Trump kind of doubled down. He said that in the next coming weeks, he would continue to attack Iran in hopes that this would bring them to the negotiating table so we could finally strike a deal. What's really weird is that if you have been keeping up with the conflict, Iran seems to have achieved greater leverage over the West. And the reason why I say the West is because the United States isn't the only country getting affected by this. You live here in America, you obviously have seen the increased oil prices. I just paid 5.3 at the pump the other day. And according to a lot of experts, the total cost of the war haven't really hit the economy yet. But regardless of how this war has affected the US, who has been impacted by this the most are European countries and Asian countries. And for us to understand the reason why, it is important to understand how Iran projects power around its region. One of the ways that Iran has really made this war hurt for the West is by blocking passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran had been bombing vessels who were trying to make a passage through the Strait of Hormuz, and they were also threatening to bomb key civil infrastructure around the countries in the region, like the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain. And although the US has claimed to have achieved already most of their strategic objectives, and when you really start to peel off the layers, it's clear that the US ostensibly is about to walk away with the defeat. So, what were the administration's strategic objectives at the beginning of the war? Well, one of the main objectives was to destroy Iran's nuclear capacities. Their claims was that Iran was about to build a bomb within days, and that it was crucial to not only bomb Fordo and Natanz in June, but to also come back now and secure the uranium. They wanted to deplete Iran of its ability to build a bomb, and they were also looking to significantly damage their ballistic missile program. Now, those are the goals that we all knew about. Those are the goals that were talked about day in and day out leading up and during this war. But there were 2 other goals that the administration talked about but didn't lean on it as much. The first one is the US wanted Iran to completely dismantle their proxy network. And lastly, but certainly not least, the US seemed to be pushing for a regime change in Iran. When Trump first announced the operation, he told the Iranian people to rise up and take back their government. It would be theirs to keep. I'm going to read this to you. This is a quote directly from the horse's mouth. This is Trump on February 28 addressing the nation. He says, quote, "Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered, don't leave your home, it is very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take your own government. It will be yours to take. This will probably be your only chance for generations. And when I say that the US seems to be chasing a regime change in Iran, this is not coming out of 4chan or Twitter. Trump has been saying that they have actually achieved a regime change in Iran. Although Trump did take out Iran's supreme leader, the security apparatus is still the same. The new appointed supreme leader, he's the son of the guy that we just killed alongside his wife. So I don't know if we were expecting this guy to be any less of a hardliner than his dad. I think if somebody came and bombed my dad and my wife, I would probably be even more radicalized. And so we killed their supreme leader, but the issue is that according to Iran officials, their succession roster is 7 people deep. And like I said, the security apparatus is still the same. Yeah, you killed a supreme leader, you killed the head, but the machine behind the IRGC is still basically the same. And the most likely successor to the Iranian regime is the Iranian regime. So it is kind of weird that the administration is calling this a win, saying that we have effectively achieved a regime change in Iran. If regime change is really their end goal, we will definitely have to stay in this war for longer, and we will definitely see troops on the ground. It is impossible to bomb Iran to surrender, and we have seen that. Yes, we have badly damaged their military assets and we have killed their leadership, but if anything, this just brought the country even closer together. And it doesn't help that it has been confirmed that the US was indeed the one that bombed that school full of kids. I think it was a girls only school, and I believe 150 girls were killed during that operation. So it looks like our attempt to dismantle Iran's leadership has only made people get even more aligned with the regime. Now let's talk a little bit about ballistic missiles, because this was an objective of the administration. Now, US intelligence assessments can confirm the destruction of at least 1/3 of Iran's ballistic missile stockpile. The strikes conducted by the US and Israel throughout the war probably have depleted or severely damaged or buried underground another third of their arsenal of missiles, but Iran still retains a significant inventory of missiles that could allow them to continuously bomb infrastructure in the region or vessels trying to make a safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. And even if you take the missiles out of the question, Iran still has a ton of these suicide drones, and they can make them fast and they can make them really cheap. So the maritime threat to these oil tankers making the passage still remains. When it comes to nuclear weapons, we did in fact deliver a very strong blow to Iran's nuclear program. When we bombed Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan, it is reported that all of their enriched uranium is buried deep underground. But this was already the case before the war in February. Now Trump is saying that securing the uranium isn't a priority either. Trump is literally saying that because we had such a successful attack in June of last year, there's no need to send troops on the ground to go and secure the uranium. So then it makes us beg the question, how have the attacks really weakened Iran? Despite the hits to the leadership and to military assets, Iran seems to be walking away from the conflict with greater control over the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the White House seems to be signaling that they will leave without securing the reopening of the strait, which looks to be more of an attempt to draw in allies to help them in the fighting. The US made requests to many of their allies in Europe and across the region asking for aid while fighting Iran. A vast majority of the allies denied any involvement. They said it's not our war. And here's what I think. I think the White House is signaling that they will leave the region and step away from this war without securing the Strait of Hormuz. Why? Because the US obviously does get hurt by this volatility and all of this conflict going on in the Middle East. And if oil shipments can't leave the Strait of Hormuz without paying a toll, and if oil tankers cannot make a safe passage, we're going to eat some of those costs too. But who gets hurt the most? It is not the US. It is the countries that are reliant on the energy coming through the Strait of Hormuz. Liquefied natural gas going into Europe and Asia, and oil shipments from those Gulf countries who have to pass through Hormuz. If those ships cannot get through, the price of oil skyrockets. And some analysts have been saying if the strait remains closed, we could see crude oil prices go up to perhaps even $200 a barrel. So this seems to be an attempt by the White House to tell our allies, hey, if you don't want to help us fight this war, then we'll just get out and you have to deal with it because you need the strait to be open more than we do. This seems to be the angle that the White House has been taking. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that it is unacceptable that the strait remains closed, but Trump has also said that it is not crucial for us to secure the reopening of the strait before exiting the war. According to him, we have already achieved our objectives in the region, and we could withdraw from the Middle East without a guarantee that this strait will remain open. And the cherry on top is that Iran is not only blocking these vessels from making the passage, they're also now charging a toll. There are reports that some vessels have paid up to $2 billion to secure a safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran is now saying that control over the Strait of Hormuz is the new status quo, and that moving forward, they're going to be charging every vessel a toll, just as Egypt does at the Suez Canal. So when we ask ourselves, how badly was Iran hurt by these attacks? It's obvious we did hurt them. We killed their leadership, we pretty much destroyed their navy, we destroyed a large portion of their missile stockpile. But if you look at this from a bird's eye view, Iran hasn't made any concessions. They still view enrichment as the pride of their nation and crucial to their national security. They are not willing to talk about proxies or their ballistic missile program. And now they're saying that the Strait of Hormuz moving forward will be under their control. Now, one thing I wanted you guys to take into account is that we are in the middle of a war, and there's something to be said about the fog of war. Obviously, everything that Trump says to our nation goes on the internet, and we are watching, but Iran is also watching. Russia is watching, China is watching. Anybody that has any skin in the game with this conflict, they are looking to see what the President of the United States has envisioned for this conflict. And that's why I say that I do not believe the US is going to just suddenly withdraw from the region, especially when Iran hasn't really made any concessions. We have not secured the uranium, and now Iran is asking the US to withdraw all of its troops, otherwise it will continue to bomb civil infrastructure around our allies in the region. So with all of that in mind, with no concessions, with no deal on their nuclear program or their missiles, and with this additional control and jurisdiction over the Strait of Hormuz, I think it is very unlikely that the US will be able to walk away from this without escalating the conflict. And if we were to take the administration's word at face value, you would think that we would see a surrender any day now. But let's peel back those layers once again. Trump is saying we're going to withdraw. Throughout the entire week, Trump has been saying that we are staring at the end of this war. He said it's a matter of 1 to 2 weeks, maybe 3. But now the US has moved a third aircraft carrier into the region. So we have 3 aircraft carriers in the region, and we have around 50,000 US service members that are deployed around the region in support of the Operation Epic Fury. And in Trump's address to the nation tonight, he said that he will continue to keep applying pressure on Iran. Trump saying that over the next 3 weeks, and if after 3 weeks there is no deal, that he's going to bomb every single electric producing plant they have. So how can 2 things be true at the same time? How can the administration say that we're going to be pulling out of this war within weeks, and at the same time move 3 aircraft carriers to the region and have over 50,000 US service members on standby? So what I think is happening here is that the White House is signaling that they're going to withdraw, so that the allied countries offer to join us in the war. And if I had to make a prediction here, this war is going to go on and on until Iran finally makes concessions and acquiesces to the demands coming from Washington. But that's going to be it for this video. If you like the coverage, please subscribe to the channel and make sure you smash the like button here on YouTube. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.